It's fascinating, really, delving into the journey of masculinity. Most of us men seem to follow a somewhat parallel path. We start off feeling insignificant, just one of many in the crowd. Then comes school, where we inevitably develop crushes on girls who, more often than not, end up with someone else. It's a universal experience, isn't it? The heartbreak, the longing for someone who seems just out of reach. Some guys resign themselves to mediocrity, settling for less or accepting heartbreak as their eternal fate. But then there are those who refuse to be defined by their pain. They decide to channel that energy into something greater, something transformative. They understand that pain is just energy waiting to be redirected. Every man knows heartbreak, knows sadness, but it's what you do with that pain that sets you apart. You can wallow in self-pity, wasting away your potential, or you can rise above it, sculpting yourself into something formidable. I mean, let's be real here. We've all been there, feeling like we're not good enough. Maybe it was that breakup that left you tossing and turning at night, wondering where it all went wrong. But instead of drowning in sorrow, you could have channeled that energy into something productive. Hit the gym, pound the pavement, pour your heart into your work. That's what separates the men from the boys, you know? It's about taking that pain and transforming it into something powerful. Because when life knocks you down, when it feels like the universe is conspiring against you, that's when you have a choice. You can either let it break you, or you can let it make you stronger. I remember when I went through a tough breakup in my 20s. I couldn't sleep, couldn't stop thinking about her. But instead of wallowing, I threw myself into the gym. Morning, afternoon, evening, I was there, channeling all that hurt into building myself up, both physically and mentally. And you know what? It worked. I turned that heartbreak into motivation, into a drive to become the best version of myself. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the pain we endure, but how we rise above it. So next time life throws you a curveball, remember, you have the power to turn it into your greatest strength. Trauma has this incredible ability to shape us. Heartbreak, depression, sadness, they're all powerful motivators if you know how to harness them. Let me break it down for you. You've got this guy who's just been dumped, right? He's drowning in heartache, sending endless texts, pouring his energy into all the wrong places. But imagine if he redirected that energy. Instead of bombarding his ex's inbox, he could be sending cold emails, hustling to make something of himself. I'm telling you, some of my biggest accomplishments have come on the heels of heartbreak. It's like a giant middle finger to the universe, proving that you're worth more than someone walking out on you. Sure, you could wallow in self-pity, stewing in bitterness, but I've always believed in a different approach. Take that pain, that anger, and use it to fuel your transformation. Become the person you were always meant to be. Now, I'm not saying my success is solely thanks to some chick who broke my heart. But every time I've been knocked down, I've refused to stay down. As a young man, you're bound to get your heart stomped on a few times. It's part of the game. But here's the thing. It's not about being bitter towards your ex. It's about realizing your own value, your own potential. I remember talking about this with Tristan on our podcast. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need validation from anyone else. So yeah, trauma can be a bitch, but it's also a wake-up call, a chance to prove to yourself and the world what you're made of. And trust me, when you finally realize your own worth, it's a game changer. It's like turning pain into rocket fuel for your transformation. You take that heartbreak, that disappointment, and you let it light a fire under your ass. Instead of dwelling on what could have been, you focus on what can be. I've seen it time and time again. Guys who let heartbreak crush them and guys who use it as a springboard to greatness. It's all about perspective, about seeing obstacles as opportunities. So yeah, trauma can mold you, but it's up to you how you let it shape you. You can either let it break you or make you stronger. And personally, I'll take the latter any day of the week. That's the thing about life. It's full of twists and turns, highs and lows. But it's how you navigate those ups and downs that defines who you are. And let me tell you, there's nothing more empowering than rising from the ashes of heartbreak and proving to yourself and the world that you're capable of anything. So yeah, trauma can be a bitch, but it's also a blessing in disguise, a chance to become the person you were always meant to be. So the next time life knocks you down, don't stay down. Get back up, dust yourself off, and show the world what you're made of. Because trust me, you're capable of more than you think. So here's the thing. When you invest all that energy into these girls, and they eventually come back around, it's not necessarily about falling in love all over again. It's more like a subtle, I told you so moment. You see, seeking revenge on a woman who hurt you? That's just not the way to go. That hole in cell vibe? Nah, that's not it. The real revenge? Success. Yep, leveling up in life is the ultimate comeback. So, imagine she hits you up again. You've got two options. You either gracefully decline, saying something like, "Sorry, not my type anymore," and bam, you've won. But here's the kicker. You've got to prepare for heartbreak. It's going to happen at some point, so have a plan in place. Take all that pain and trauma and channel it into something positive. Seriously, every bit of wisdom we've dropped on this podcast is true. Life's gonna throw curveballs, but it's how you swing the bat that counts. Now, let's talk about respect. Women, they don't just sleep with any guy. They respect the ones they're with. And if they respect you, well, you're in luck, my friend. But earning that respect? It's not a hack. It's about being a person worthy of it. And here's the thing, you can't let blatant disrespect slide. If you do, you're basically telling her, hey, it's cool to treat me like garbage. And that's not a precedent you want to set, trust me. Yeah, I tell guys this all the time. I've had plenty of guys come to me for coaching, saying, my woman doesn't respect me. And you know what I tell them? It's way harder to fix something that's already shattered than it is to keep it from breaking in the first place. From day one, you've got to stand tall and be the man you're meant to be. Being that man doesn't mean being a jerk or aggressive. It means setting boundaries and showing confidence. I've sat down with a girl and politely told her, if we're going to be serious, you can't have male friends you hang around with all the time. If you want to hang with those guys, we can just keep it casual. It's up to her to decide. Now, if she chooses to keep all those male friends, it means she's prioritizing those friendships over our relationship. And let's face it, if she's gonna cheat, she's gonna cheat, right? So why stress about it? But here's the thing, most guys are too afraid to lay down the law like that. They let things slide until it's too late, and then they come to me asking how to fix it. But you know what? You've got to set your boundaries and stick to them. If she can't respect that, then maybe it's time to move on. If you're stuck with just one option, well, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Some women are just not worth the trouble, plain and simple. The key point here, gentlemen, is this. If you're not willing to walk away, you're basically disarming yourself. Think about it. If she knows you'll stick around no matter what leverage do you have? None. Imagine a woman telling you, no matter what you do, I'll never leave. How powerless would you feel? So, as a man, you've got to be ready to walk away if necessary. That's the only way to earn respect and make her realize you mean business. You've got to set your boundaries and stick to them. Let her know that there are lines she can't cross. If she does, you've got to be prepared to walk away. If she doesn't chase after you, then she's not worth your time anyway. Better to end it there and save yourself from a messy divorce or getting cheated on. But too many men are afraid to pull the plug. They get too attached to the physical aspects of the relationship and doubt they can find someone else. But trust me, there are plenty of fish in the sea. You've got to be willing to walk away if she's not treating you right. I've been madly in love with women before and still walked away when they crossed my boundaries. And you know what? I never regretted it, and they never even knew how close they came to losing me. That's just how it goes sometimes. It's about self-respect and knowing your worth. I've been deeply in love with the women, you know? But sometimes, no matter how much you care, they just don't seem to listen. So what do? Well, I chose to walk away when they didn't chase after me. It's tough, losing someone you love, but at least I can say my dignity remains intact. It's like playing chess, you know? Sometimes you're in a losing position, and the only way out is to make a big sacrifice. You're not sure if it'll work, but it's your only shot. So, you make the sacrifice, even if you end up losing in the end. Because if you don't, you'll just keep getting worn down until you lose anyway. Do you love someone so much that you'd rather delay the inevitable? I mean, who wants to stick around while their partner cheats on them? Sometimes it's better to just rip off the band-aid and walk away with your head held high. It takes guts to do the right thing, even if it means saying goodbye. Man, it's wild how some guys freak out over the idea of breaking up with a woman. Like, seriously? I've been through some real emotional hell, so a breakup doesn't hit me like it used to. I've had people try to take me out. I've got scars to prove it. So forgive me if I don't shed a tear over some girl who can't even bother to text back. It's all about perspective, you know? Think about the folks in Syria getting bombed every day. And here we are, alive and kicking, worrying about petty relationship drama. It's like, come on, there's real trauma out there in the world. So why sweat the small stuff? We're here, breathing, healthy. So buck up, move on, and leave the drama behind. Hey, you were listening words of Andrew Tate, credit to him, and voiceover by me. I am Mr. Rex. Now if I summarize it in one sentence, channelize your pain for greater good. Energy can't be destroyed, but only transformed. Gotta go, folks. I'll see you in the next video.